back on another exciting episode of Starfleet Boy, where we have a casual and informal conversation about Star Trek. Today we're focused on Star Trek Picard, Season 2, Episode 5. Fly me to the moon and let me play among the stars. Let me see what spring is like on Jupiter and Mars. In other words, hold my hand. Do you think Vic Fontaine did he ever sing this song? Do you guys know? I don't think he sang "Fly Me to the Moon," right?
I don't think so.
I'm not sure.
Vic Fontaine.
This is two live streams in a row that you've sang.
I know.
Last night as well.
It's true. I've been singing. I've been in a sing-songy mood lately, and what can I say?
Must be happy. Must be happy.
Well, I'm happy to be hanging out with you guys. It's a nice Sunday, and you guys are awesome, and also the audience is here. It's so cool. Look, we already got some folks. Cake is Eternal. Hello, hello. Joel. Let me see. I always get your last name or handle wrong. So Envalisak. Envalis. Okay. Envalis. Okay. I think that's what it is. I'm not sure. Anyways, and then PE's here, parentheses eyes. So how are you guys doing, gentlemen? How's it going, Braxton? How's it going, Marcelo? How's it going, Ian?
Good, dude. No complaints.
Good.
Solid Sunday here.
Yeah.
Watching some baseball, getting ready for the new baseball season to start this coming week.
Oh,
so I'm
is
excited.
baseball starting?
Woo! Yep, Thursday for me.
That's awesome. Speaking of Deep Space Nine.
It's got to be good. We've not had any snow today, so that's always a good thing because we've had snow for the last couple of
snow is always good.
Yeah, I mean, this is how stupid the weather is in the UK. We had for a week and a half, nearly 2 weeks of warmish, sunny weather. We get to springtime and the temperature drops and it starts snowing.
Marcelo was right, by the way. They just dropped a brand new trailer for Strange New Worlds.
I'm vindicated.
Apologies, Sohel. You apologize.
Where is it?
I apologize to Marcelo for something that I was talking about offline. But yeah, apparently there's a brand new 30-second promo for Strange New Worlds, which we're not going to. We're not going to
show. No,
we're not going to switch and talk about it here. But I can tell you, it's a visually stunning looking trailer, as all of these little trailers have been. I'm kind of like trying not to look at it. No, we're here to talk about Star Trek Picard. So, what did y'all think of this episode?
It broke too late, dude. So I really enjoyed this episode. It was the progression of our story. We saw Rios, get broken out and come back. We had like some major movement as far as like the Borg Queen goes. Like we were wondering how her story was going to play out, and like. Yeah, that got serious advancement, We found
that got serious real fast.
We found out more about the character Renée that we saw at the end of the last episode. This was a good episode. I enjoyed it.
How about you?
We had Issa Briones. We had Issa Briones.
Oh, yeah, we had Issa Briones. We had Brent Spiner. We had John Delancey. It's an all-star cast. What'd you think, Ian?
I enjoyed it. Sorry, unfortunately, I was because of
everyone's
what
watching.
You just said.
Everyone's watching the
Strange New Worlds. Yeah, no, I did enjoy it. I thought it was. I love the additional Assignment Earth parts again in this week's episode. I think we saw more of it. We were all thinking that it was being more Gary Seven type esque. And I thoroughly enjoyed that bit, and yes, and obviously Picard thinking it was Laris when it's not, but yeah, I enjoyed that. I enjoyed the interplay. I think it was more. I think it was a slightly better interplay between Raffi and Seven this week. I think there, and also I think you really did get to see Raffi's how much she was grieving when she accidentally thought she saw sort of Evan Evergoa's character, Elnor. Yeah, so I think that really sort of was the antithesis, but bringing obviously now we can get everybody back now together. I think is hopefully it's going to push forward, but yeah, with the twist at the end, which was really good. So yeah, I mean that to be honest, there has not been an episode of this season that I have disliked. I have liked every episode so far.
How about you, Marcel? What do you think overall?
I love this episode for two reasons. Number one, Issa Briones, welcome back. Good to see you again.
Welcome back, Issa.
And yes, I really love Issa Briones as Daj and Soji, respectively. More Daj than Soji. But and the other reason is break him down
It's
like a
funny
shotgun.
that you like Daj, but not Soji.
You know,
you get more of.
You know, breaking down like a shotgun. Girardi shooting the queen. I loved it. She was like, get off my ship. But you know, to go to Ian's point, I loved that in this episode we saw how deep Raffi's pain goes over Eleanor's supposed loss, because we all know that he's going to come back. But it was nice
think
to.
He's going to come back.
Come on, we know he's going to come back. Come on.
I hope. Ian, wait, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but you're wearing what Jean-Luc was wearing in this episode. I just realized.
Yeah, that was a nice happenstance. I set it all up sort of yesterday. We're not even thinking about it, and yeah, it is very Picard-esque. I have to admit, yeah.
But Marcelo is certain that Eleanor is going to come back. What else, Marcelo?
No, but
well, I agree. I think he is.
I don't know. I'm worried.
To go off of one of Ian's points, the chemistry between Raffi and Seven is just great. I've really, really loved seeing them interplay throughout the course of the season. I would love to find out why they split. I would love to see if that's going to be a line.
I don't think that they split. I think they're just long distance relation. They're doing the long distance thing, and now they're back together because their mission. You know what I mean? That's the impression I got. Or maybe you're. I don't know. It is. Raffi says in the first episode to Jean-Luc that she didn't want to have Seven choose her over doing good stuff, like over doing helping people, basically.
Yeah, but that's ridiculous.
Have you guys listened to the radio play? Yeah,
no,
I haven't.
I'm only halfway through it, so I've still got the second half to. I think some of that may be explained.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to buy the radio play to find out what I want.
I love that you call it a radio play.
Well, it's an audiobook. It's a radio play.
Right, well, it's not an audiobook, is it? Because you've got numerous actors and there's playing out, so it's more of a radio play than an audiobook.
Audiobook.
So you've listened to it, dude, already? Or no?
He's halfway through.
I'm halfway through.
Mm-hmm.
So lastly, I just have two more things I want to point out. I didn't like how they showed the test flight between that Renée Picard did. I don't like how the operator of the test was like, "You're dead." Like he said it in like a very sarcastic. It's like after he said it, I wanted to punch him. But the other thing that I'm wondering is, when she does the flight, is she going to do the flight all by herself, or is she going to have other crew members? Because it doesn't make sense to me that you go on a rocket ship to another planet all by yourself. That does not really sit well with me. So I don't know if she's.
I don't think because they were talking about, because she's meant to find this sentient life. Right. On another bit, and they actually say that she persuades the team leader to bring it back. So I'm going to say that it's a team as opposed to just Renée on this one.
And the other thing that I didn't like very much is that I know a lot of people liked the Gary 7 vibes to this episode, and they liked the conversation between Picard and not Laris. But I was just bored. I was like, come on, like. Let's just move on.
You mean the opening conversation, like when they're explaining everything?
Yeah,
this whole thing.
That I was like,
oh, interesting.
I was like, you know what? I was like, I already know what this woman is. So I'm like, just let's get over it. Come on. But you know, but that was just me. But other than that, I really liked this episode. I thought that this episode had some issues here and there, but it was for the most part entertaining.
Excellent.
Going back to what you were saying about the discussion, I think not everybody's seen TOS.
Right.
So I think some of it is going
was
to be
necessary.
they're going to need to explain it. So because there are a lot of Trekkies out there that have not seen TOS because they came in when it was TNG or
Right.
Voyager or Deep Space Nine.
Right.
So there's so many that have never ever seen TOS. So I think that conversation, the couple of
to
minute
happen.
conversation was just right to actually bring people into the fold just enough.
Oh,
we
So
do have
to
a
understand
couple
it.
of.
wait a minute. Wait,
Oh, go
I have
ahead.
one more. I have one more thing. Sorry, one more thing to jump in there.
No, go ahead.
I love that Jonathan Frakes directed this episode. Anytime Jonathan Frakes directs
Yeah,
anything,
he's awesome.
I'm always on board. So
He's a darling
yay
of
for
Star
Jonathan
Trek.
Frakes.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
We got a couple folks in the
okay.
audience who are saying, I didn't really understand the TOS Gary 7 connections to this episode. Can someone explain that to me? My thing, I think the thing is it's just Gary 7 and Assignment Earth. That episode was designed to be like a kind of a backdoor pilot, as they're called, or like just to kind of entice audiences to see if they would like a show about like
No, it wasn't really that. I think, to be honest, I think Gene was seeing the writing on the wall for Star Trek because they were struggling to get a third season, and he wrote this as a backdoor pilot for a separate series that would be considerably cheaper than Star Trek at the time, because
gotcha.
obviously because you were using as it was then modern day America as the backdrop with certain elements of sci-fi. So that's what he was trying to do, and then obviously Star Trek did get picked up for a third and final season.
But regardless, the character was on assignment Earth, supposedly making sure certain things happen or certain things are protected about the timeline or whatnot, and he was taken from Earth and trained by higher beings, and that's how he became Gary 7, I guess, which we find out, they're called like supervisors, or in this case, watchers. So this character, Talon, who I was hoping was going to be Isis, is one of those supervisors. So she's not the cat that we met, Gary 7's cat, Isis, which is a shapeshifter, but she's a different character. Although Orla Brady did go online and tease about it. But it's neat. I think that this is interesting because it's kind of taking that idea and going a little further with it. And I don't know, but there's all kinds of opportunities if that Section 31 show ever comes to pass. Like, these are other organizations. Now we've met the Jat Vash, we already know the Tal Shiar, we already know the and now we know these like supervisors, so they may come into play in that series as well. So who knows, they could be just setting up another thing. But I kind of like it. I like the idea that there is a watcher who's protecting certain people in the timeline, and apparently her assignment is our wonderful Renée Picard, who we see here. And Renée is struggling a little bit with depression. We find out that Renée, although she's quite accomplished and extraordinary, she does suffer from doubt and depression, and it's starting to weigh at her as her mission to Europa comes closer. You were saying, Marcelo, that you didn't understand why she was all by herself, like flying the spacecraft. I think she's just in a module that's for the pilot. I think the spacecraft, from what I saw, is like this huge. It's a big spacecraft. It kind of looks like that early Enterprise concept. I don't remember if it was John Hughes or whoever.
So you're just saying that she was just in the
pilot module.
The pilot module, and that there's going to be other people on the flight with it, because that was my problem.
That's my guess. I don't know.
I have to agree a bit with Marcelo here, because when you've seen other things with NASA and everything else, when they do simulations, it's the whole team.
Yeah, it's everybody. It's not just one
It's
person.
everybody. So you can't expect, unless all of them have been killed for whatever reason. But when they've got the Apollos, the space shuttles, they all train together. So this scene, in hindsight, looking back at it now, and especially with Marcelo saying, doesn't particularly work for me, because it is the team, and it will
it
be
doesn't look
just
right.
because the pilot's not thinking. Yeah, different elements of the team will come out and come up with an idea that they can solve. It's not just the pilot that does it. It is the whole team. So with everything they said about the sentient life coming back, so it is going to be a team. But her to be in that on her own, that just didn't work for me.
I don't know. Maybe by 2024, there's less crew on these ships. Who knows?
I mean, if okay, so let's say she is on her own, right? Like, I could physically make up a way of how she could do it on her own. Like the takeoff flight could be automated, right? Down from the Earth, but once she got into space, she could have control of the ship. But even then, like, where she's going, doesn't that doesn't it require, like, you can't just go into space by yourself, right? She's gonna go mad up there. You know, so let's say, if I don't know, maybe I'm just talking out of my butt. What do you
No,
guys
I
think?
don't think
I'm
so.
crazy.
I do think we'll find out. I mean, I know what you're saying, and I don't disagree with you. I'm just trying to think of, like,
Other
I'm just
reasons?
thinking, like, of a reason why she might be alone, but who knows? Yeah, it didn't bother me as much as you guys, but I get what you're saying. Um,
Yeah, but I am saying
It's
it's in hindsight
I
that
can
it
tell
doesn't work
Braxton's
for me.
watching that
And
Strange New Worlds trailer. Sorry. He saw
Guys,
Arthur's comment
guys,
about
yeah,
Spock naked in bed doing the
yeah,
deed, and he's like, I
guys,
gotta find that 1 minute and 53 seconds.
what I'm doing right now is I'm trying to find it. So that's what I'm doing.
You guys, it's funny. I love it. We have a couple of other things. Someone theorized that Talon might be the same Watcher watching the whole Picard line.
Mm-hmm.
But then our friend Pocket EMP is saying, if Talon is the same person as Laris, then trying to get closer to Picard seemed to break the Watcher code of non-interference, even worse than being his caretaker.
Mm.
Do you guys think we'll get an explanation to why Laris and Talon look the same?
Yeah.
Rafi asks about it later, but do you think we'll
that
get
was a good. That was a good. I don't know if you've seen Sean Ferrick's ups and downs.
No, not yet.
For this
I haven't
episode.
seen it.
He
Give us a
does
recap.
actually. He does act. Well, I'm not going to give a recap, but there
okay.
is an element. He says, when she's got that data pad,
Right, it's
they
it's
showed the video.
Romulan technology.
It's Romulan.
Yeah,
It's
we
Romulan
found
tech.
that out from another podcast, Text Track.
Text Track. Yeah. So
shout out to Text Track too, as well.
Yeah.
as
So
well
it is
as Ups and
pointing a
Downs.
little bit, maybe, that there is going to be that bit, but obviously there was another comment to say that the Soong gene pool must be really, really shallow when everybody looks like Brent Spiner or Risa Briones.
Jean-Luc is telling Talon to get closer to her subject, though. He's encouraging her, so maybe by the time I don't know if it's going to be the same character, although how long does a Vulcan or a Romulan live? Although she'd be much
Hundreds
older.
of years.
Yeah.
It's hundreds of years.
I mean, Talon could definitely be. I mean, they seem to be doing like this whole Back to the Future where your ancestors look just like you thing in Picard this season, because and also it's just a tradition in general. Like the Soongs always look like Brent Spiner, and now Issa Briones is added to that that mix as well. So it could be that Talon is an ancestor of Laris, and maybe Laris is also like it's possible that it gets passed from.
She's a golem.
Or she could be a golem, or it could just be that like Laris, you know what I mean? Like, because Laris was involved with the Tal Shiar, so she has done stuff like this, and yeah, it'd be interesting. Folks are talking about the Zhaban doppelganger. Who saw Zhaban? I've never seen Zhaban in the trailers. I kept going back and looking, but
Me neither, dude.
I don't remember seeing Zhaban in the trailer. I think that character was the long-haired guy who Talon warged into before she presented herself to Jean-Luc.
Mhm.
At a glance, looks like Jabon, but maybe Jabon does come out. I don't know. Could be, but
Mhm.
yeah. So we find out that Renée, that is in fact Renée Picard, and you know, Q's up to something. He's I, I love the scenes later on where Jean-Luc is you know, the conversation is continuing with Laris. I mean, sorry, I just called her Laris. That's funny. With Talon, and he's like, "Oh, here it is. The scene. That's no therapist. That's Q." And he gets up, accused up to something.
I quite like the bit at the start. This is private, and she's getting telling us,
Yeah, he's like, yeah, but Q's definitely like trying to encourage. It seems like Q doesn't want Renée to go on this flight, so yeah, maybe the flight's important. Maybe, you know, that this mission is important to that future not happening.
Does he realise? Because it seems to me that it seems to be screwing up. Well, whether it's screwing up the Q continuum, but it's definitely screwing him up because he's losing his powers and everything else. So by doing this, you know, it could be that, you know, he's being detrimental to himself.
You know, but he might not know that. That's the weird thing.
Well, that's what I'm saying. He doesn't realise. I don't think he realises by screwing this up that he's
going to screw himself up, because he does look like he's pretty messed up in the future. Like, he's not.
Does anyone does anyone think? I'm sorry, Ian. Does anyone think that the Q continuum is gone? That's why he's going insane, and that's why he's losing his powers, and that's why he's losing his mind.
Something's up. Yeah, something's up. I don't know if the Q continuum's gone, but remember in Discovery they say we haven't heard from the Q continuum since whatever date. Right. So yeah, something does happen. What did you guys think of the Borg Queen calling the police?
That was really coming out of a B sort of like a B movie horror. It was, but it was quite good to watch. I did enjoy that. It was one of those ones I did like.
That was pretty cool. Again, I think that this Borg Queen, I particularly liked this Borg Queen a lot more than the other previous iterations that we've gotten. Why? Because I think that this actress who plays the Borg Queen has brought a sense of a little bit more humanity and a little bit more emotion to her performance, that the other ones haven't brought. So I've liked her performance quite a bit, but once again, like I said earlier, I liked when she got shot. Because I just thought that was cool. because check it out, she was monologuing, she was doing her big evil thing, and then Jody just said, "Enough with you," boom. So I was like, yeah, come on, that's awesome. So
yeah, I don't know if I'm reading too much into this, but I definitely felt like she was more like the Borg Queen in First Contact, and I thought that maybe that had to do with Jonathan Frakes directing her. She had that kind of like, he would zoom in on her lips and stuff, and like just some of the like her sensuality in this part where she's like connecting to the cell phone network, and all of a sudden when she gets that signal, she's like, like, you know, like so really like it's like a physical experience for her when she gets like, you know, in touch with technology and stuff like that. I just loved all that stuff in this scene, you know, and it was cool, like seeing her hack, like, you know, doing the voices, the different voices and authorization codes and stuff, you know, like, and the computer's like, no.
The other thing, I'm sorry for the voice.
Sure, no, you don't have to apologize.
The other thing that I like about her performance, or the technical choice that the makeup artist did in this season, was I like the fact that they decided to make her eyes black. It's just you don't see anything. You just see blackness. That is a choice that is different from the Borg Queens that we see before, but that also makes her a little bit more mysterious and makes her a little bit more dangerous, because when you look at her, the only way that you can tell her emotional state is by her voice, because when you look straight at her, you see nothing. So I think
it does make her more menacing to look at, definitely.
Right.
And
Nice.
here
Yeah.
I have her with her eyes closed. It's hilarious. But I don't have like one of the. Do I have a shot of her? Let me see. I think I
You know, the
do.
actress who plays her, she was talking to Will Wheaton, and she was like, "Oh, you know, like I didn't have any contacts in my eyes, like when I was doing these scenes, like I was because I was like kind of like immobilized or hanging. I was trying to really like deliver the scenes, like with like my face and my eyes."
Yeah.
And then Will Wheaton was like, "Oh yeah, like I've seen like footage like before the effects." And like you're giving so much with your eyes, and she
And they're
was like,
black and
oh well,
white.
it'll be really interesting to see like how it looks with like my eyes blacked out, because I was trying to give a lot with my eyes. Thought that was interesting.
Yeah.
She's very good. I mean, she's very. I mean, I don't know if any of you guys have seen The Rookie. And she plays
Yeah, the villain in that.
like a psychopathic type,
Ruthless villain.
but yeah, ruthless person in prison in that one. And I can see certain similarities, and she played that really, really well in The Rookie as well. So
Mhm.
great choice of actor. Sorry, to play the Bald Queen. I think she's knocking it out of the park.
Mhm.
And she also did a quick guest stint on the first season of Bosch from Amazon, and I liked her. I liked her in that quite a bit as well. So,
Yeah.
but she's a really good actress.
She
But
is.
again,
Yeah.
But again, I love Girardi shooting someone. Like I think I think that's to the violent part of me, but I love when anybody shoots somebody.
Jeez.
So
I must admit, when we saw the shotgun back a couple of episodes, when she started picking up the wine and the book and all that, because you saw the shotgun over the
The
fireplace
mantle. Yeah.
then, and I was thinking that's going to come into play sooner or later. I don't know where, but it's amazing that it's been sat there for God knows how long. And it still works.
Well, we
The
don't know.
cartridges hadn't been. The cartridges. The cartridges are fine, and everything. That it just works.
They mention a caretaker, so I imagine that's like we haven't met the caretaker, but I imagine that's something that he maintains.
I mean, the
Oh,
house
so
was looking a
he
mess,
forgets
dude.
the house,
Or
but just
she.
maintains the
The
shotgun.
house was looking a mess. The house was dirty as hell, dude.
I think.
So where is
Did you see there's what's weird to me is that there's bottle in that same shot that they show of the shotgun just hanging on the wall. I don't think I screenshotted it, but there's just like a random bottle of wine also on the mantle. Like I feel like it's funny that when they were leaving Chateau Picard, they were just like, let's just leave these bottles of wine
Bottles of wine.
scattered
Yeah.
all over the place. It's kind of funny. It's like people who break in can just like grab a bottle of wine. It's like, oh yeah,
Let's
it's
give
like-
these hobos a drink. Yeah.
Although uncellared, I don't know how good that wine will be when you open it.
No, it's gonna be like vinegar though if you don't
Yeah.
properly shelve it and put it in a storage place.
Random Menace says, hello, Yosef, by the way. Borg Queen calling French police and using half the time English is the least believable part. I wondered about that. Like, she does switch back and forth between English and French, but I think that's common. I think the French know English and they just don't tell you that they do, so that you'll be forced to speak French. I did learn I was better than my American counterparts in Europe when I went to France. I learned a whole phrase which is bonjour, pardon, est-ce qu'il y a une personne qui parle anglais? And then people would look at me and like, why do you need someone to speak English? You speak French. And I was like, no, that's the only thing I learned. So it's like, that's all I know. But I mean, France was magnificent. In 2010, I hiked across the French, where was I? The Haute Loire, so the highlands of the Loire, the famous Loire Valley. So the highlands, I was in the highlands, and it was really nice. And I picked fresh strawberries and mushrooms and cooked them in duck fat with little old ladies, and it was glorious. It was a very
Little
French
old ladies,
experience,
that's
yeah. But the other thing folks were pointing out is that like this thing of cops going into to dangerous situations alone is very unrealistic, right? Like usually a police officer
Normally
will call
two of them. There'd be two of
there's
them.
usually
Yeah.
two, or they'll call for backup. So
Yeah. That's the part where I said, that's a bunch of bullshit because cops don't go into places alone ever. So yeah,
That was another thing that they pointed out in the Ready Room, that somehow COVID prevented using contacts on the Borg Queen. I wonder if that's because someone has to
Depends.
apply contacts
Mm.
to you, and so it could be, I don't know. It's
No, but
interesting.
the thing is, no, but with that, that seems a little bit odd to me because wouldn't the makeup people use gloves, and wouldn't that permit the transmission of COVID possibly, right?
But
Oh yeah,
but
because they,
she did say that Annie Warshing actually
yeah,
did say something to do with COVID
COVID
Protocol.
protocols.
protocols.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it works. The CGI doesn't look any, like, to me it looks flawless. So
Looks
I
fine.
just
Mhm.
feel sorry the artist who has to rotoscope that, because usually you have to do that like frame by frame.
Yeah.
But I mean, probably.
Hey, but that artist is getting paid, so they're cool.
Yeah. Yeah. They could, no, but also, I think Braxton has a great point. All the wonderful artists that we have on Picard, Discovery, Strange New Worlds, and all our Star Trek people, they love their job. So they would sit there happily, just skitching away on the special effects. They love their job, so I think they have no problem with that.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. But I
We're
mean,
working from home as well, so it was fine.
Yeah, it was fine. Yeah.
there's a lot of cool folks, by the way, in the visual effects community who are on Twitter. Folks who work on Star Trek, especially, and yeah, you can see them. They post their work and they talk about their experiences. The working from home thing actually wasn't as easy as we think. Like, especially for editors who had to download like large files, and it didn't always work and stuff like that. I don't know about graphic designers and special effects artists, but yeah, it was like,
I would have thought it'd have been
challenging in
easier
many,
for
many
the
ways.
artists than it would have been for the editors. I
For
can
the editors,
imagine that the editors, it really did. It was a struggle for.
You know, it's interesting you say that because I follow the composer for Star Trek Discovery, and he said,
Russo.
yeah, no, I'm talking about
Jeff.
not Jeff Russo, the editor. I'm sorry.
Oh, the editor. Yeah.
And he said that working from home was quite a challenge because, like you said, Ian, he would get like massive chunks of cuts like every day, and like that would slow down his system. His system crashed a couple of times. His internet died a couple of times, or he had to go into the office to finish a cut. It was just a little crazy for him. He mentioned in a couple tweets a couple months back while Discovery was airing.
Is that Chad Rebel you're talking about? I think, right?
Yes, the editor. Yes,
Yeah.
He's
I
really
follow Chad as well.
He's really
Yeah.
cool. He's super
He's
sweet
really
to
great.
fans, and he's very like giving with his like about his profession. He talks about it and stuff like that. It's cool.
Teleworking really does suck, dude. I don't
It's
like
sad to
teleworking.
me that it's sad to me that like a lot of these guys, I forget that these jobs are contracts. They're like, when the show's over, like Terry Metalis and Dave Blass are out here pointing out that they don't have a job anymore, and I'm like, what are you talking about? You got to have a job. Like Star Trek, keep hiring these people. It's like,
Yeah,
keep hiring these people.
I would rehire Terry Metalis to do like
Anything he wants. He could just do Riker sitting on like
I-
playing the trombone for 3
no,
hours, and I would watch it.
I would rehire Terry Metalis to be a writer on the Starfleet Academy series that we're gonna get because I don't think he's gonna. I think that that Alex Kurtzman has somebody different in mind for the show running for the Starfleet Academy series, but I would rehire Terry Metalis to be a writer because I love what Terry Metalis has done with season 2 of Picard so much. I think he's done a great job so far.
You know,
Right
I
on.
like how that device that you're showing right now is like a galaxy folds.
It
or a
is, right?
galaxy
It's
flip
a
with, like,
it's like a real
some
world.
stuff around it.
It is a phone. Yeah. It is
Yeah.
a phone.
That's
yeah.
like a real world phone. That's what I heard too. What did you all think of the Rios escape sequence? Was it exciting? Did you like it? What were your
I
favorite
did,
parts
yeah.
about it?
I liked it. I liked that they were all speaking Spanish beforehand, and he was the guy was getting a bit irate because he couldn't understand what they were saying, and basically he's winding them up, and then they kicked ass, and so
Yeah, it was,
I enjoyed it.
It was cool because a lot of times when I watch things in other languages, I have to read the subtitles like every other person who doesn't understand the language. But this time, I didn't have to read shit because
You understood Spanish.
because I'm Spanish, so I didn't have to read shit. So I was happy. I didn't have to read anything because I knew exactly what they were saying. But to move on to the more important part of the scene, Rios kicking ass. I really liked it. I thought it was very very cool how to move to what Ian was talking about again, to how they sort of winded him up, and they sort of provoked him to come to the back and then beat the crap out of him. That was cool.
I do like that both Rafi and Rios have knocked the 10 bells out of two people, and they've done it so and the movements they do it is so believable, but so quick that you can tell that they're trained in unarmed combat, and I do like that. It just shows that Starfleet do teach these people not just science and everything else, but to look after themselves as well.
It
Proper
proves that
combat
they're
techniques,
military.
It actually doesn't, and also I'll just remind you that in Star Trek Beyond, Scotty himself says that the reason what's his face is all upset is because Starfleet and the Federation are not militaries. He specifically states that they are not militaries. And if you're gonna be like, oh, that's the Kelvin timeline,
I'm gonna die on that hill. Sorry, I'll die on the hill. Listen, a guy. Look. This is coming from a guy who loves the Kelvin timeline, but I don't believe that for 1 second. I'm gonna die on the hill, and I'm gonna say that Starfleet is a military adjacent organization.
it's still not saying it's a military organization. You're still agreeing with me. You're just using different semantics.
All right,
yes and no.
fine.
I don't know of any non-military organisation that uses lieutenant, commander, admiral, captain.
Yeah.
I don't know of any.
My Star Trek fan
non-military.
club uses that, and my Patreon has ranks as well. You can be an admiral, you can be like whatever. I do think
as an organisation,
I do think there's also a lot of organizations that have ranks like that as well. Sometimes, but I'll have to go and research and cite them. But one that comes up to the top of my mind was the American Legion. It's not a military organization, but it's set up like a military because it's a lot lot of military folks.
I mean, I would agree with up to captain.
Oh, and look, NASA has
ships,
ranks. Booyah! Ooh.
Yeah, but the thing is, though, NASA has ranks because they're still active servicemen. They still serve the military. They're still in the Air Force, in the Navy, and everything. Yep. So they are still active.
But
servicemen.
The organization
so
itself is not a military organization. There is one called Space Force.
Still, they have ranks, so that should count for something. And I would like to change what I said. I do believe that Starfleet is a military organization. I'm going to die on the hill. All right. I'm sorry.
Well, we can debate that.
Shut up now.
We could go on for that for a long time.
I will agree that any Starfleet force, security force, could give the military a run for its money. I'll just say that.
That is true.
I can't believe we just went back to this debate here for a second. But I wanted to say to Jill's point earlier. It is true. I think I kind of agree with this, but it's still satisfying to see this guy get beat up. But I think Ice Agents could have been less of a cartoon character and made it more interesting. I think they played this character like this in response to, there were a bunch of Ice Agents that had a Facebook page, and it leaked, of course, like everything does online. I mean, I don't know how people think they can just post whatever garbage online and never get caught, but it got leaked, and it was, the Ice Agents were using like very racist kinds of terminology, like how this character says, like, instead of can you give me your John Hancock, he asked for the guy's Juan Hancock, and things like that, just like subtly, or not so subtle, just like very racist and bigoted kinds of language. So I think that he was purposely done this way as a commentary on that kind of behavior, and to really question, who are we putting in these organizations? Are we setting up these organizations to be, aggressive and fascist because we're putting people who have those views into these organizations? Is there any oversight? That's the kind of question that I think it asks.
The whole design, I mean, I'm not going to get political. I'm just going to say one thing. The whole design of ICE in itself really goes against what the American dream is.
Yeah.
I'll just say that. That's all I'm going to say. But the whole design of the organization sort of flies in the face of what we perceive the American dream to be. I'll just say that.
Yes, and the Statue of Liberty and those symbols that we hold dear to
Right.
To America. What did you guys think of this surprise sequence here with Rafi mistaking this young man as Elnor? Which, by the way, good casting because they have very similar hair and bone structure kind of thing going on. You know, they could definitely be cousins or something like that. But yeah, I like that they popped Elnor in there and they had that one moment with Rafi.
This really,
It broke
I
my
think
heart,
this
actually.
really, yeah, this really does prove the depth of what Rafi is feeling. You know, because I mean, we said before when Elnor died that basically it was like she was losing a son, and I think this really shows the depth of her grief for that to actually think that she thought she saw Elnor, and that was a good scene, and also afterwards because you could still see the tears in her eyes because she was welling up. That was a good scene.
Yeah, fun will now commence. Says, I like how they showed Rafi's pain by showing the audience what she thought she saw in the scene. And it worked for me too, because I gasped. I was like, oh, what's going on? It totally got me in that moment. And then I started like tearing up and welling up too, because I love Elnor. He's like one of my favorite characters ever. So yeah, that was pretty interesting to see. And,
I actually also quite like the conversations between Raffi and Seven before the bus
about
comes around
vulnerability,
the corner.
yeah, and like standing still versus running, and those
because Raffi was accusing Seven of running away all the time, and I did
Seven.
And I thought,
oh, that's a bunch of bull. Go ahead, Ian. Go ahead, Ian. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, I was. But the thing is, I think what made me laugh. Well, not made me laugh. I did have a little snigger at is they were saying about beaming Rios out, but they were saying, "Oh no, that will do that," but they didn't think twice about being beamed out of the police car.
Yeah,
the episode before.
Yeah, it's true. They are polluting the timeline quite a bit, but maybe none of it will matter when time gets reset. You know, like I don't know how it's going to work out.
No.
Dude, like all these people that they just like let stay in the country, like these people will have like descendants that could change the time. Like, yeah, dude, like the butterflies are just multiplying.
I like that because they do talk about that throughout the season, like all the butterflies.
It was Jurati that brought up butterflies in the first place, wasn't it? She was the one who mentioned butterflies.
It confused me, Cerulean Blue says. Hey, Cerulean Blue, by the way, because we already have the two Soongs being the same actors playing other parts. I wouldn't have been shocked if he had turned up as someone else. Oh yeah, but he had his Romulan ears. But yeah, it would have been interesting if actually Evan Evagora still played the same character. But I'm glad they cast someone else in the part. Why was Seven worried about beaming Rios out when she? Oh, this is what we were just talking about.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's interesting. Like if all that polluting the timeline will come into play. I really liked how Rios seemed very satisfied at the outcome of this rescue and how these folks are able to go free, and he was kind of able to I think he was so disappointed in humans. You know, like here's this character who's already cynical and kind of like jaded, but then he comes back to the past and he's like, oh crap, like these people are really awful. Like I can't believe any of this stuff goes on. So I like this little moment where after he, makes sure this guy was okay, he kind of like has this moment where he looks off a little satisfied, and I really enjoyed that, and I thought that was a good little.
I think that that all started really from the whole line. I pledge allegiance to the flag. You could see the disdain in his voice with that bit, saying, with that bit, and I think that's been that's small story arc for Rios all the way through in Ice.
There's an interesting story. I'm so shout out to teachers who give you more than just what the textbook says, but there's I had a really great history teacher. She always went further. She always presented like alternate or opposing or like not so well-known views of like historical facts. So I felt like I always got a well-rounded understanding. And so I have to go back and look it up, but there's some interesting stories about how the Pledge of Allegiance did evolve. It didn't even start out, I don't think, it didn't start out like the same. It had a different vibe, like a much less nationalistic vibe and a less kind of religious vibe. It didn't have the one nation under God line originally and stuff like that. So it's interesting to see how it like kind of evolved. And yes, Amy Nelson, shout out to all teachers. Thanks for being on the stream today. Shout out to all teachers. Thank you. I always loved my teachers growing up. So yeah. Thank
Hello,
you.
Miss Nelson.
Yes.
Say that.
Yeah, is it? Yeah, is it just?
I've got an apple for you.
Yeah. Is it just me, or is Pledge of Allegiance the same song? If you look at it, like, is it the same song structurally as "God Save the King"?
No, the Pledge has never been a song, but you're thinking of "My Country 'Tis of Thee, Sweet Land of Liberty."
Yeah,
of the I Sing. That's the song.
So they use the same music.
Yeah, they use the same music as "God Save the Queen," which has
that's what I'm thinking about. Yeah.
which has lines like "Find her victorious, strike down," something I forget. There's like lines that they don't sing anymore, but about her like striking down those knavish enemies of the empire and stuff like
Well,
that.
it does go back to when we used to be at war with France, Germany, Holland,
Yeah,
you name it, Belgium.
I used to know I was a much bigger Anglophile than I am now. I've since spread my love across the world. I love many cultures now, but I used to know all those songs by heart and stuff like that. So it's pretty funny. I still remember. How does it go? When Britain first at heaven's command did rise among the azure main. This was the charter of the land, and guardian angels sang the strain. Rule Britannia, Britannia, rule the waves. Anyways, that's it. Ian's like, you know it better than I do. No, I'm just kidding. He probably knows it too.
Because I don't know. It's always some of those bits, sort of like when you're a kid and you're in church, and the sort of like. Sort of hymns that you go da 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 Rule Britannia. It's sort of those type of bits. Didn't know the words, but you knew certain words, and as a kid, you sort of like hallelujah, all that type of thing. Yeah. It's just that you never knew the words, but you just knew certain words.
Next, we meet Adam Soong, who's talking to a panel about genetics and helping people and a cure. And at first, we're like, it's kind of, he looks like an inspiring figure, and they seem to be really into what he's saying. But then we find out that he's done some unscrupulous things like experimentation on ex-military, and just to get to the answers to these questions. He says he's doing it for the greater good. Always watch out when people say they're doing something for the greater good. At least that's a red flag in a lot of TV shows and stuff like that. And Joel's pointing out we get to see Leah Thompson acting in this episode. That's her in the middle as Dr. Werner, the chairman. And then we have a Rozhenko who might be related to the Rozhenkos sitting next to him. So another little nice little nod to future Star Trek, or past Star Trek, but in the future. It's like, you know how it works. It's all very backwards compatible. But yeah, Soong's whole motive is his daughter, Kore, spelled Kore, which I thought was interesting because Data, Data, Lore, Lore, and then we have Kore, which is Kore. Daj is also 4 letters, and so is Soji. There seems to be a 4-letter progeny thing going on with the Soongs as well, which is interesting.
You mean like Adam as well?
Adam, yeah, exactly. Adam as well, yeah. And I guess there's an implication him being named Adam might be that he's one of the first Soongs to start doing these things, experimenting, and possibly the life he's created. There's some speculation that Kore might be a clone, and that's why she has this genetic disorder, because whatever sequencing he used was probably rushed or something, and she might be a clone of his wife that's mentioned a little. Well,
there's that little scene, isn't it, when she asks about her mother being a swimmer and everything, and he's a bit reticent to say anything. So that does tend to get lend credence to that maybe she is a clone.
What did you guys, Braxton and Marcelo? What did you guys think of Corey and Adam Soong?
I said it at the start. I was really happy to see Soji slash Dodge slash whoever
Corey.
she is now.
She's Corey.
Corey.
She's Corey. I was just really happy to see Issa Briones again because I was really starting to think that we weren't going to see her again. I was like, what the hell is Issa Briones? Come on, give me some Issa Briones, people. But I don't know if it's just me or I'm getting really tired, and this is where I get kicked off the stream. I'm getting really tired of Brent Spiner playing different versions of the Soong people. I would
Soong
much
family.
rather Soong family. I would much rather have a different actor come in and play a different version of a Soong family relative. Now, don't get me wrong. I love Brent Spiner, but I'm like, can we get somebody else to play these people? Because it's like, is this supposed to be a running joke that they all look the same?
It is.
Is it?
It's actually a running joke.
I think it is a running
it's
joke.
intentional,
now that it is.
and yeah,
Okay.
I understand where you're coming from, but I also disagree personally. I think it's
Of course you do.
delightful. No, of course I do.
I
I
of
think it's
course you
delightful.
do.
I think it's like, but again,
Yeah,
it is very. I
it's
get
a running
I
joke.
get why it could work for some people and not for others, but I've always liked that Brent Spiner gets to do it because I know how he personally like hated wearing the makeup. So whenever I see Brent Spiner come back as like a Soong and he doesn't have to wear the makeup and he's just in his own he's just like in his regular face, I always get happy for him because I get to see that. But yeah, it is a tradition, and now they've included Issa Briones in that tradition, so I feel like we're gonna see her playing past iterations of Soongs as well, or other things like that.
Amy in the comments has made a comment saying about now the painting named Daughter is making a bit more sense now.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. Very true.
But I'm wondering like when they fix the timeline and everybody goes back to normal, which it will happen. I don't care what you say, Starfleet boy. Everything will be fine at the end. Do we think? Look, and I acknowledge that this fear is coming out of my ass. I have nothing to base it on. Do we think that Dodge is going to come back? Like, oh God, I just want her to come back so bad. It's like,
no, I don't think that's gonna happen.
all right. I'll forget it. I'll just be quiet.
I love this comment. If you guys have ever seen the show Night Court, Joel's wondering if the hillbilly Spiner played on Night Court was a Soong also. I think so. I think it's safe to say that that's a Soong. In fact, Dr. Oaken in Independence Day is also a Soong. He's just saying his name is Oaken, but he's actually a Soong. So I think everyone...
He's Dr. Oaken Soong.
He's Oaken Soong. There you go.
Yeah.
But I mean, we find out really quickly that he's really desperate because he can't really cure his daughter, and then he gets a mysterious message a la the Matrix that says, "I can help. Check your 3D printer," and then it prints out this calling card with a Q, which we all thought was the IDIC. Do you guys remember when we thought that was the IDIC symbol? But go ahead.
Yeah. How many of you have called that number?
I've definitely called it.
I have not, but I do know what happens to it because I was.
Oh, I know what happens but I know it's an American number. But how many people that are also out there watching? How many of you have called that number?
Yeah, let us know. Also, we promised a few folks that we would play it. So
Joel called it twice. There you go. Joel called it twice.
Hold on. I'm going to play it for you guys right now. All right, let's see.
Hello. You have reached the Q Continuum. We are unable to get to the phone right now because we are busy living in a plane of existence your feeble mortal minds cannot possibly comprehend. Furthermore, it's pointless to leave a message because we, of course, already knew that you would call, and we simply do not care. Have a nice day.
so that's brilliant. So that's what you get when you call the number, and there's the number right there. Dave Blass apparently has done this before for the show Constantine. Apparently there's a number and you can call it and it still works or something. So this is like a gag that I think he came up with. Dave Blass is the production designer, the art director. of the show. So I think he's just doing a magnificent job, and I think this is a delight. I hope they leave this number active for many, many.
Oh, I think they will.
Yeah,
I think they
so.
will. They'll leave it for a long
I've
time.
saved it in my phone as Q, so it's there. I'm gonna try. I'll just randomly call Q every now and then. So yeah, it's really funny.
That's brilliant.
We got some comments. The message is hilarious. I think it was George who posted that the Q on the card has appeared on the opening credits since episode 1, just like the DMA appeared in the opening credits of Disco all season. Yeah, it's true. There's that one scene where the little glass flies through this thing that looks a lot like this this thing. But yeah, those credits will make more and more sense to us. I think as the show goes on. Yeah, I think so. Any other
you're
thoughts?
seeing in the credits, you're seeing the glass is actually coming into the Confederation Delta as well. As it spins, it creates the Confederation Delta.
Oh, yeah, that's cool.
Mm.
I do have one more thought. Like when Brent Spiner, he's always going to be Brent Spiner to me. I don't care who he's playing. When Brent Spiner, he's always Brent Spiner to me. He's never dated to me. He's always Brent Spiner. When Brent Spiner and Q come together, and just to see the way that, thank you, nice timing, Starfield boy. Great timing. When they do have that conversation at the diner, I find that conversation to be like so delicious and so great, and the way that Brent Spiner says, what does he say to him? He says like shut the fuck up or something like that. It's so great.
I don't think that's what he says. He's just saying that cat there's some heiresses, like rich older ladies, heiresses
wanting their cats
who are wanting their effing cats to be
fucking cats,
so that's the scene. Yeah, but he's kind of Adam Soong's not a nice guy. He's a very angry guy.
Angry guy.
But did you notice that he actually said data? He didn't say data. He actually said data.
Say data. I wondered, if that was like a little nod. Why'd you send me this data? I think everyone says data now. No one says data anymore.
But just to close up my commentary, just to see the interplay between John Delancey and Brett Spiner, I thought was gold, and it was great, and I loved it so much.
It's one of the highlights of the episode is this conversation between the two. Definitely.
Yeah, it was really really chilling when he's like, "Who are you?" and he says, something about I'm the dust. I'm what's left from the stardust, and the gentle fluttering of a butterfly. Speaking of more butterfly references, and then death, destroyer of worlds, and he hands him
Oppenheimer.
It seems to be butterflies and tapestry seem to be common words that they're using throughout this season.
Yeah.
But he gives him this little vial with the antidote to his daughter's condition, and then he tells him to try it out, and so he does, and then we find out, of course, that nothing. Of course, it wasn't something that was going to be permanent. He does have a permanent cure apparently, but the cure was just temporary. So she had a few minutes in the sun, and that was kind of delightful. It was nice to see him and see kind of his, speaking of villains that are not just so black and white, to see him have these moments with his daughter where he seems really genuinely happy for her, and like really seems to be enjoying the moment where she's getting to like live like a normal person. But then of course it only lasts so long, and she goes right back into her state as before. But yeah, what do you guys think of this whole relationship, and like what do you think is being set up here? Because there's two things Q seems to be meddling with. One is I get the impression that without Q, this character of Corey dies. I don't think Soong will originally have come up with the cure in time, so she could be the divergence. So Renée Picard not going on the mission might be a misdirect against the real divergence, which is Corey living. So I don't know. What do you guys think of all that stuff?
I don't know.
It's setting up for two different parts. I think there's always going to be a camp saying it's Soji, whatever her name is, and then another one saying it's Renée Picard. So I think they're setting it up quite nicely. It could be a 50-50.
Yeah,
Sorry,
I
Marcelo.
don't. No, that's okay. Sorry, and I jumped first. I don't know what Q's end game is here. I don't know whether he wants to, steer this song or Soong in a particular direction. I don't know, what he wants to make Picard see or make Picard atone for. I don't know what his end game is at this point, and I think that is rather delicious. Whether it's going to be a version of Renee or whether it's going to be this version of Soji or Dodge, like I like to call it, because she'll always be Dodge to me. I don't know exactly where he's going, and I find that to be delightful. Or what his end game is going to be.
Braxton, any thoughts on these characters?
Oh yeah, dude. So I have no idea where it's going. I think that your theory is interesting. That it could be core in what the future is turning on. That would be really interesting. But yeah, I enjoyed seeing this other shoe drop. As far as like the storylines that are affecting our overall story. It was nice to see Issa. Is her name Issa Briones?
Yeah, Issa Briones is the
It was
actor, yeah.
nice to see. It was nice to see her again. I do enjoy Brett Spawner playing all the Soongs. He can just keep coming back and coming back. Like it's cool for me. So yeah, it's been interesting, like seeing them dropped in as a factor in our story.
Right on.
I think with Brent Spiner, I think the one line that did get me, he said, "Think of me as a god." When he's talking to the board,
and his daughter's even like, Corey's even like, "Dad, you didn't do that speech, did you? Like, no wonder it didn't work." I guess we get to this like really, we're up to this really big moment in the episode now where Girardi, kills the Borg Queen to save Officer Leclerc over here, Marcelo's favorite.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Picard's favorite.
We've got guns. Marcelo's happy.
Yes, we got guns. Lots of guns. Sorry,
I did not think that they held this secret really well. I did not think they were going to kill the Borg Queen. I was kind of shocked by it.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, she's not dead. She's kind of, well, as we know, she, later on it's revealed that she actually used her, I guess, her nanoprobes, or maybe these are emergency nanoprobes, because they had said earlier that her nanoprobes were neutralized or that they were suppressed somehow or whatever. But she either beat that, whatever was suppressing them, or she has these, maybe all Borg Queens have emergency nanoprobes that are in a protected, area or something like that. And when it's kind of like the Vulcan Remember. It's kind of like,
I was about to say,
yeah.
I was half expecting her to say "remember" in it, and I thought, oh, thank God they didn't use that line.
CB says, and have we seen the Borg Queen actually kill anyone yet? Even the cop escaped her wrath. Something is off when the Borg Queen ain't assimilating or killing. I think she was about to assimilate that guy. I think that's what her plan would have been if Girardi didn't shoot her.
No, I
I was half expecting him to be a pro. I was half expecting him to be a drone. I wasn't expecting him to be hanging there. I was expecting him to be a drone.
When she came in, yeah. And imagine she would have had to kill them both. That would have been sad. What do you have to say to Ensign Lynch? Poor Ensign Lynch. What were you gonna say, Marcelo?
I obviously don't know what you guys think, but I think that this was a part of her plan all along. I think she planned to get shot. I think she planned for Girardi to think that she's won, and I think it was part of her plan to get herself assimilated into Girardi. Because I think that she's playing the long game here.
Do you?
See, no. See, I don't think that she has done anything out of duress because she has seemed perfectly in control to me, despite her being hanged up. She has seemed perfectly in control to me, and to me, she seems like she has a plan. Now, I could be wrong, but to me, it seems like she has a plan.
I also think that even if she didn't plan for this, the Borg are like excellent at adapting. So it kind of doesn't matter what you throw at the Borg; they will come. They're just like they're like they're just like expert adapters. So they might just adapt and stuff like that.
Dude, I feel like she's
Question
run
for
like
you
all the
all.
simulations of the way things could play out. Like I
Yeah.
feel like she always knew the probability of
Oh,
her
that there would be a.
physical being surviving. Probably had like a high probability of her not surviving physically. So I feel like she'd like run all the simulations and like
Yeah.
the way things could go. And she
So I
prepared
guess
for
that supports what Marcelo was saying. Like she's kind of got a plan for everything. Yeah.
it.
So, question for you all: is Jurati the Borg Queen we saw in episode 1? Because you didn't see her face.
Most
No.
likely, yes.
That's what
I
I'm
refuse-
starting to lean at now after this
I-
episode.
I refuse to believe that. I'm going to die on the hill.
Do you still think it's Seven, or do you think it's Annie Wershing's Borg Queen?
No, I think it's somebody else. But like I said, I'm going to die on the hill. I have been dying on the hill.
Wait, did you tell us already who you think it is, or you just don't know, but it's not any
No.
of these guys?
No, I just don't know. But also, I think it's someone else that we don't know.
I think it's
Uh,
Girardi. I didn't think that. I thought it was Seven initially, was my guess. But there's still the Picard's mom
Fury.
thing,
Yeah.
which oddly it would be so weird if the Borg assimilated her, Yvette Picard, in the past and like brought her to the. It'd be so messed up. I
That'd
don't
be
know
cool.
if that's gonna happen.
It'll be cool though, right?
And I don't know if it would be as. I don't know. I'm kind of on the fence about how cool that would be, but I mean, it would definitely be dark. It would definitely be dark.
Dark
it's
is
for
good.
sure. Our audience is saying, Amy's saying, I always thought it was Girardi. The Borg Queen has now pushed Girardi to kill her so that she can exert more control.
It's not the first time Jurati's killed. Let's
No, that's
isn't it?
yeah. Let's not believe that this is the first time Girardi's done something like this.
That would have been funny if the Borg Queen said, "Hey, Mister," instead of Picard, look up. Like, "Hey, Mister, look up," and then we would definitely know it's Girardi.
It's Girardi.
Joel's asking, I wonder if the Borg Queen uploaded some stuff to an Amazon server somewhere as well. It's true. Holy crap, that's true. Like the Borg Queen could also, she might be on the internet right now, you guys. Like, who knows?
The Borg was check this out. The Borg Queen might be Jeff Bezos. Look at that. Well, sure, that explains everything now, doesn't it?
Pocket EMP, everyone keeps pushing poor Agnes to murder. Hey, but she saves the police officer's life, so
She does.
we got to give her some kudos for that. She saves Officer Leclerc's life. And then we have everyone, as Marcelo pointed out, or Braxton, everyone gets back together basically. In this scene, so we have this humorous scene where Talon and Jean-Luc arrive while the other guys are like dragging the police officer back to his car. We find out that he's like, no, I'm sure there's like a perfectly good reason.
sure he's not dead.
He's got to be alive. He's definitely not dead. Like, she's looking at him like, this guy's crazy. Why am I following this guy around? Like, he's so nuts. But it is an awkward situation to be caught in. So yeah, that's when Raffi also has that talk with Jean-Luc,
Picard.
asking him if he thinks it's weird that she looks just like Laris and stuff like that. He's like, yep, and she's like, okay, good talk.
These one-word answers. Yeah, good talk. Yeah.
Good talk, yeah. But then, of course, we go back to so after the whole incident, we go back to Q manipulating Adam Soong, who's watching over his daughter. By the way, I really love this shot because it shows those hexagons and he's like lording over them, and it's kind of like a foreshadowing the hexagons that will be over the earth that he's probably responsible for. And he had that technology also like we saw a glimpse of that technology when his daughter was outside for a little bit before she was injected with the serum.
I mean, with his mini Tholian webs.
Yeah, his mini Tholian webs. But here we have Q come back, and he's basically like, yes, I have what you need. Don't worry, and he says some more Shakespearean type of stuff like, the only way to truly not be held hostage to anyone is to not love. But then where would the delight in that be, or whatever? And he's talking lamentfully about something else. We can tell, I think, there's something bigger going on for him as well. And so then he says, does the name Picard mean anything to you? And we don't really know. We don't know if Adam Soong knows Renée Picard or not, or if Q wants him to snuff out Jean-Luc instead of Renée. So we don't know. There's a lot of unknowns here. What do you guys think?
Again, like, I don't know what Q wants or what his overall end game is, but I just find it really interesting. I really like the story that's being told here. Like, like Braxton, I have no idea where we're going, but I'm definitely down for the ride.
Yeah. I think it's quite good that we don't know, because it just keeps our interest. Mm-hmm. It's, if we all worked out what the end game, the end plan and game was, it'd get boring very quickly. But it's not, and it's just drip feeding us that little bit of information. But it's like, we're wanting more. So there's these like a couple of cliffhangers at the end always keeps us. Next week, can't wait for next week. And I actually like that we still have this next week instead of having to binge watch it. I'm liking that they are releasing it every week as well. It gives us something to look forward to.
Amy says if he has an angle, it's to help himself. That's true. Q's usually
he's in it for himself. He's in it for himself, always.
And then Jill's pointing out these gentlemen have really aged well. Great faces. I agree. Especially John Delancey looks great. Like, I don't know how old John Delancey is, but he looks fantastic.
Yeah, it's all that time on the boat. All the time on the boat.
He does spend a lot of time on the boat. It's true. He does.
He does.
So we move at last to the Mission Impossible style portion of the episode where we get shout out to Marcelo who does a Mission Impossible podcast. So go check that out.
Thank you.
But yeah, we get this like this caper setup here where Picard
Ocean's 11 setup here.
Yeah, Ocean's 11. He debriefs the crew along with Talon as to what's going on, catches them up. They concoct a plan to send Girardi in first because it's like super high security, this event. So apparently Renée Picard is going to this like gala event, and then after that she has to go into quarantine for a few hours. So this is like the moment where things can pivot either way. Like she may or may not go on the mission. So Picard says we have to go there and kind of watch her and make sure she isn't swayed and that Q and whoever else doesn't get in the way. And then Talon's like, but we can't interfere or be known. And she points out how tough the security is. And then we find out that, they're going to send Girardi in first because Talon can get one person in using her technology. And then Girardi's going to hack into the computer system and get everyone else in. So I love this scene where Alison Pill, who by the way looks amazing in this red dress, which I think is a Valentino personally, but I don't know what it's probably something else that the production designers designed. But yeah, she gets in and she overtly does some suspicious things so that she can get caught. Meanwhile, we see Renée Picard nervously watching the launch of, I think it's the Apollo mission is the one that they showed. There, and so she's kind of nervous because as we know, Apollo ran into trouble in space. Which one was that? Apollo 11?
13.
13. Thank you, duh.
There was a big film about it. You may have seen it.
Yeah, thank you. Jeez,
Houston,
Starfleet boy.
Hello.
So yeah, evoking some nervous thoughts in her, and she, so we were wondering, oh, what's gonna happen? But anyways, Girardi gets captured on purpose. We have Jean-Luc and crew waiting in the wings, tuxedos on. We find out what exactly happened during the sequence right after Girardi shoots the Borg Queen with the nanoprobes, as we discussed earlier, and then we see that Girardi has like a stalker that's gonna follow her everywhere she goes. Apparently, a voice in the head, and it's the Borg Queen. Help us, Picard, from the Borg Queen at the beginning. They didn't say which Picard they were asking for. That's true too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that's the whole episode. We're left on another cliffhanger. We're gonna find out next week what's gonna happen. But any thoughts about next week or what's going on?
I got one.
Go ahead.
I mentioned that it was a little weird that Renée Picard didn't have any crew during the little test that she was doing. What if the crew that goes up with her in the shuttle, for whatever reason, I don't know how this is going to work, but what if the crew that goes up with her in the space shuttle is our Picard crew? What if Picard?
That's not gonna happen.
It's not gonna happen.
Rio 7 and Rafi.
That's a
Yeah,
little
yeah,
too. That's a little too close to first contact. It would be a little too on the nose, I think.
All right. But okay. The other thing.
But I do think there's going to be a moment where Jean-Luc is. I do think they're going to meet Renée and Jean-Luc, and I do believe they'll have a conversation that only someone from your, like a Picard conversation. I do believe Jean-Luc will somehow inspire her or instill like a Picardness in her to give her back her confidence. I don't know. I think something like that might happen.
No, the other thing that will be interesting is to see Agnes deal with the voice in her head. And I wonder if she's going to really put up a good fight, or if she's just going to argue with the voice in her head and do whatever she wants. Like, I don't know if the Borg Queen is going to control her outright or kind of just steer her towards a particular direction.
Agnes has proven to you that she is a woman of action who is not afraid to kill or pull the trigger. I said, oh damn, Girardi's got some big balls pulling that trigger, killing the Borg Queen. I feel like most people's instinct is to like, oh well, let's like negotiate and keep everyone alive, and her decision is to kill. Yeah, I like that about Agnes. She's a woman of action.
My ass.
Yeah, I believe that she can control some aspects of the Borg Queen's personality and influence over her.
We have someone
will now commence. Actually, made a good comment. Girardi and the Borg Queen is now like Baltar and Six from Battlestar Galactica.
Oh, I like that. But Baltar was a little whiny, mouthy boy. I hated that guy. God, that guy was so. Oh my God. But to be fair, number 6 controlled his little ass all the way through. I don't care what you say.
All the way through, yeah.
All the way through. Come on. And I have to believe that Girardi is going to be better than Baltar, because Baltar was.
Oh yeah, without doubt.
Yeah.
Yeah, the BSG fans like myself were looking at that and thinking, is that a little nod to Battlestar? BSG. And I do believe it is. Terry Metalis said on Twitter that he would have loved to have written for BSG. A lot of folks.
He's a big fan. He's
a big fan. So I wouldn't doubt it that that's a direct homage to BSG. One little thought that I wanted to share was like one thing that I really like about Q, especially in this episode. And I think we're seeing Q in different time periods. Like we saw Q, like that Q was after he does whatever he does. This is the Q before he changes the timeline. And one thing I like is like he's definitely like his power is unstable, or it's not like he says like I've learned as of late that I have certain limitations, right? So we're seeing that something's like holding him back, or something about this is very precarious, like he's not supposed to be doing whatever he's doing, and so it's messing with his powers. But I like that before, regardless of having powers or not, Q's so formidable and so like smart. And remember when he lost his powers in TNG, he still had all that math. Like he still was like, just change the gravitational constant of the universe. Like he was still insanely smart. Like we forget that Q's a clown, but whatever his species is, they're like way more advanced than anything. You know what I mean? Like these guys know like, you know, physics on a different level than we do. They can like change the gravitational constant of the universe, you know? So he's very clever. And so I don't doubt any of the hacking he does or any of the, you know, like the stuff that he does in this episode, coming up with the actual serum. I would even say that he could probably just do that without his powers. Like he didn't snap that into existence. Like he could just do that. That's how clever Q is. So that's one of the things that I really like.
Yeah, that thing has never really been in doubt. He is highly intelligent and he is highly the master manipulator, and those are the two things that is really coming out again in this series. That he is intelligent and manipulating,
and dangerous.
Especially Soong. He's manipulating Soong and Renée Picard, of course, because he was obviously going back to the therapy sessions. He's manipulating her to basically to drop out.
Yeah,
as well.
All right.
Oh, in answer to your question, John Delancey's 74.
Oh wow, he's about my parents' age. That's cool.
Yeah,
he's very kind. He did a cameo for my friend Ruben that I've played on Starfleet Boy before, which is very, very sweet. He basically gave Ruben permission to be the Q character on my show. So for those of you who know Ruben, that's what John Delancey is doing.
The mischievous Ruben.
Mischievous Ruben. He is the Q of the show.
Ruben is many things. A mischievous is one.
Yeah, well, do you guys feel like one of our audience members wrote to me and said you can't stop giving your absurd ratings? I wasn't doing them on the Picard discussions for a while, so I want to please our audience. He's a longtime viewer, so I'll give this episode another 10.
Oh, come on!
Do you know what?
Really?
You've surprised me at that. You've never given a 10 before, so it really does surprise me that you'd give a 10 for this one.
Do you guys feel like giving a rating to this episode?
Yeah, I mean, this episode for the most part was really, really good. There were things about it that didn't work for me all the way, but those are kind of minor things. So with that being said, I will give this episode a 7. It was really good.
I give it a 9.
I'll give it a 9 as well.
Oh, high ratings. Wow. All across the board. Amy wants to know before we sign off, if he is all knowing and all powerful because of him being Q, then when he loses his power, wouldn't he lose his knowing portion too? I don't believe so. I just think he wouldn't be as powerful, but like his power could be limited, but his knowledge, because he has once already existed in a fourth dimensional perspective, he still sees all of history in a way that we don't see. So I think that he retains that, but he's just powerless to do anything as he normally would. He normally can interfere and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think as we said, he's highly intelligent. He is highly intelligent. So yeah.
9.5 from CB, 11 from Joel, and then a rare Starfleet Boy 10. Yes.
Yeah, right.
Quite rare.
Yeah,
I did see Fathery in the he was in the chat. I don't know if he's still there. Whether
he's getting ready. There will be a Text Trek stream about the trailer. I think it's probably gonna happen. Just tune in. It'll probably happen soon, like within like the next 30 minutes or something like that. I gotta go watch the trailer now like 50 times, so that I can hop on that call. What's that?
No, I'll tell you in a few minutes. Keep going.
Oh, okay. Follow you around. What time are you shooting to? We're gonna end the stream right now, Father. So please announce in the chat if you know what time you're gonna air your discussion. Guys, do you have anything to promote this week or tell the audience where they can find you online?
Yes, I do.
Go ahead.
I have a slew of stuff, as you guys know, because I've been around here a lot. But there is one thing that I would love that I need to promote. I've recently been doing reviews of TOS on Fridays at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, kicking off TQIF, and I've had so much fun doing that. And I just wanted to say thank you to all of you from the Starfleet Boy family, to the Tech Trek family, to everybody in.
We like to call it the TQIF family, so
yes,
it's like everybody.
Yes, yes. But anyway, I would like
because you're a part of it too.
Yes, I am now. I would like to thank anybody who has checked out those reviews. Those reviews will continue on schedule, and I just want to say thank you guys. You guys have been great. Thank you so much.
Right on. Thank you, Marcelo, for being a part of this and coming to so many of these discussions and just giving us
Yeah,
a
I
really
live here
unique
now.
perspective of murder. No, I'm just kidding. I take that back. I totally take
You do realise if there's more guns next week that Marcelo's got to be on.
What about you, Braxton? Where can folks find you?
Oh, you can find me on Twitter at Leviathan026. I don't really have anything to promote. See you next week at Star Trek Admission.
Oh my gosh, Mission Chicago. We're gonna be together. It's gonna be so exciting. Braxton and I are gonna broadcast some of our shenanigans, I'm sure, on Twitter. I'm a big fan of like live videos, so who knows what we'll do. So we'll check us out, and also text Trek and Trek on the Tube, who was in the audience saying hi earlier. That's cool. He's out today with his family, and also I think he seems to be bored with Star Trek Picard, so he's all alone because he's like the only person I know who's bored with Star Trek Picard. No, I'm just kidding. Don't attack me. No one attack me. Anyways,
except Sean.
Our Dadmiral Ian has some news. He did an announcement today. You want to share what's going on Dadmiral_UK?
Yeah. Well, as you know, I'm on the 3 platforms. I'm on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. And as part of that now, I'm going to be doing a giveaway on each of those platforms. I am very, very close to 4,000 followers on Twitter. So when I hit the 4,000, I am going to be giving a cosplay related giveaway on that one. Because I've restarted my Instagram because a couple of weeks ago my old Trek Cat one got hacked, hence why I've rebranded to Dadmiral. My Instagram, when I hit 1,000, I am giving away an Eagle Moss ship. And on my YouTube, when I hit 100 subscribers or followers on that one, I will be giving away a Lego kit. So
That's
there are
awesome.
3 separate giveaways that I'm doing on my three platforms.
Guys, let's get these milestones met so we can get some of these prizes out there. If I win, I promise to give it away to someone else. I won't take it because I know you. So if I win, but I'm gonna definitely follow you. I'm gonna create some accounts and follow you.
You'll never win. You'll never win. No.
Oh wow! It's rigged. It's rigged.
And also for all of you, and you two guys, obviously with Amy's going to be at Chicago as well. Amy in the chat.
Oh, cool.
So Miss Nelson
Amy
is going to be at Chicago as well. So there could be quite a big get together.
Yeah, it'd be cool. And actually,
all of you.
Speaking of get-togethers, we want to just mention there's a meetup happening on Saturday at 7:30 p.m. Right? Is it 8:30 or 7:30? Central
7:30.
Time. I think it's the Central Time. 7:30 p.m. Central Time, if I'm not mistaken. At the Arc Bar, which is right there at the McCormick, at the Marriott, I think, or the hotel. Right? Is that where it is?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So check out the Arc Bar. There'll be more. We'll tweet about it. But we already got a few folks interested. I think Arthur's going to show up. I think Amy might show up, and some other folks hopefully will show up. So come check it out. We'd love to meet you. And then Father's saying it depends on me. Hey, Father, let's aim for 3:45 or 4 because I have a thing to do afterwards. So yeah, but it's fine. 3:45, 4 o'clock works for me. So tune in to Text Track shortly from now to talk about the new Strange New Worlds trailer. So yep, that's all we got. 7:30 is the Arc Bar, so that's perfect. Saturday the 9th. So let's check it out. So yeah, Boat Wreck, the Text Track stream is coming up in about 15 to 30 minutes. So go check it out. All right, everybody. Thank you for joining us. Have a wonderful Sunday afternoon. We'll see you next week, starting on Thursday with a Twitter space, a Picard space on Twitter, and then all the shenanigans just go all over again with Fridays and Saturdays and Sundays. So live long and prosper, and we will see you